Me now? Oh, cool. I always feel like a pop star when I have this on, so that's why I want it. Back streets back. And then I have the clicker, right? Cool. So, has this been 2 amazingly inspiring days, huh? I really feel like when I've been sitting in the audience and participating in the workshops, man, you guys are out there saving the world. And I'm not just talking about the speakers and the lecturers, but also you guys in the audience. And I think you deserve a big round of applause. It actually hadn't been anything today if it wasn't for Jennifer and Soltan and all of the volunteers. So a big round of applause for them too. I was actually kind of wondering why Jennifer contacted me to come and talk to this on this conference. But during these days, I've realized that not everybody can be superheroes like you, and us, the other guys, the normal guys, what we can do is that we can help you save the world. So I'm gonna try to do that today. I'm gonna keep it short and because I know it's late and we wanna sign out. But what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna give you a few advices on what you can do on your websites in digital marketing to attract more traffic and hopefully also more consumers. But first, a little bit about me. My name is Linus. I represent a digital web agency in Sweden called WebGuide Partner. We were founded in 2003, which in web years or online years is like a century. I have about 35 colleagues in Malmö, in South Sweden, where I'm located, and we're specialized in areas like search engine optimization, paid search engine marketing, digital analysis, content, social media. And today in this talk, I'm gonna zoom in on two of my favorite areas, search engine optimization. You might know it as SEO. That's projects that we do in order to increase visibility on search engines like Google. The other part, conversion optimization, is not quite as well known as SEO. It's a sub-area within digital analysis. And what we do in conversion optimization is that we take web design, modern technology, combined with good old-fashioned psychology, and we try to make changes to websites so that more visitors are turned into consumers. So I said that the title of this book is 5 things you're gonna do on your website, and here's a list of 5 things. So what we're gonna go through today is how you can do search engine optimization, but in a way that helps you in a local fashion. We're gonna talk about conversion, what it is, and why you need to be thinking about it all the time on your website. There is something today that we tend to call untraditional navigation, and we're gonna look at what it is and why it's important and what it really means for you as website owners. And then there are some things that you can do that helps you both get more traffic and increase conversions, and one of those things are ratings and reviews. And we're gonna round it off with a short talk about mobile first. Maybe you've heard that expression before, and I'm gonna challenge it a little bit by saying that maybe we should go mobile only. But I'm gonna start up with a little anecdote. This right here is the local library in the town where I'm from. And they had one summer a huge increase in traffic to the library, and they didn't know why. Most of the new visitors was kids in school age, 12 to 15, and I don't know if they ever made an analysis or looked into why they had a big increase that year. I mean, already back then, computers had taken over how we search for data, and I mean the books were more or less the same as they were the last year. But if they would have looked into it, what they would have learned was that in between the school and a brand new candy store just happened to be the library. So what we were doing, because I was in that age back then, we were going to the candy store in between classes, and the easiest and most convenient route was just straight through the library. And I'm always thinking about this when my clients are talking about increasing traffic to their website. Because it's not just about getting more traffic and getting more visitors to a website. It's also about the quality. What do they want to do on your website? And I want you to bear that in mind, because I am going to talk a lot about traffic today, but it's always good quality traffic, okay? So, we've seen the last few years a couple of big changes in how we as searchers, as consumers, are using Google and searching for information online. And one of those things that have changed a lot is how we are looking for local businesses. Back in the days, a few years back, it was common to make a search for restaurant Malmö or restaurant Kaunas. And then it was also a good practice for website owners to be right, like restaurant Malmö, pizza Malmö. But it's not like that anymore. Here is a Google search I made just before leaving to Lithuania. I was searching for pizza. And this is the result I got. Then I made the same search here in Kaunas, and it looked completely different. And the reason to why is because Google knows where we are. When we are doing a search, Google knows where we are located. And they also know where businesses near me are located. So changes has happened in the way we search because Google adapted this new technology. And for us as marketeers, we need to know this, and we also need to understand what the technique that is providing these possibilities. And there are two sets of techniques that we need to think about. The first one is, I think, pretty obvious. I think that most of you have ever used the GPS functionality in your phone. Google is also using information about your IP address and the Wi-Fi network that you're connected to and its geographical location. But how does Google know where your business is? Well, Google obviously has got their own Google Maps software. And you as a business owner, if you have a local presence, you can go to google.com and to their maps and sign up and tell them exactly where your business is. You can do the same with Apple Maps. But Google Search is also looking at other services and local listings to know and confirm exactly where you are. And those local listings and those other services, the address of your location needs to match to the dot with what you have said on google.com. And also, obviously, you need to point out on your website what the street address of your restaurant or service or business is. And for the technical lot of you, or if you're working with a web agency or a programmer, there is even a structured way to mark up your address so that Google clearly understands that it is a street address. At the end of this slide, at the end of this presentation, there is a slide where you can download this presentation. So I have summarized a few useful links, and there are other clickable items in this PowerPoint that you can make use of. Typically, when I'm doing projects with my clients, they can be either traffic generating, like we were talking about, increasing traffic, being more visible on Google, or they are converting. And examples of conversions are booking a room on a hotel, asking for a quote by a carpenter or contractor. And the good thing about conversions is that they are measurable. What you have to do in order to understand what conversions are important for you, you should ask yourself the question, why do you have a website? Or why do you have this specific page on the website? And the answer to that is probably the conversion that you want to track. So say that you're running a restaurant. Why do you have a website for that restaurant? Well, probably because you want to accept bookings. Then that's your conversion. Or if you don't accept bookings, maybe what you want to do is show your opening hours, or even show when is it the most possible for you, most likely possible for you to get a seat. When you do have conversions accessible on your website, or when you have conversions that you can measure on your website, then a whole new world will open up for you within digital marketing. We talk a lot about something called conversion rate. What we do is simply that we look at how many visits have we got during a period, and how many conversions did we get during that period. And the percentage that we get is called the conversion rate. So 4 conversions on 100 visits would give us a 4% conversion rate. And why is that interesting? Well, because that is the number of the quality of our visitors. And when we've got that number, we can start doing really cool things on our website. For example, we can start look at different elements on the website, different web design, different wording, different types of buttons. And we can run tests and see which one of these buttons are working the best. Are we selling more or less depending on how our buttons look like? Most of the times, there is a difference. And small changes like this can mean a lot in how many consumers you get with the visitors that you have. You can also start looking at different types of channels. Especially interesting if you're buying traffic, if you're doing advertisement on Google or on Facebook, to see not only how many visitors do you get by the dollar, but also what is the conversion rate of those visitors. So on what pages should you be, oh, nice animations. On what pages should you be converting? Is it on a special contact us page? Is it on the start page? Well, it's both, and it's more. Actually, I'd say it's probably all of the pages. The thing is that we can't know on what page a visitor decides that, I'm gonna book a table, I'm gonna buy a product, I'm gonna contact this company. And the biggest reason to why we don't know on what page they decide to do that is because we don't know where they start their journey. Now, some of you might be thinking that surely they start on the start page. That's why it's called a start page, dummy. Well, that's not necessarily true. This is how most of us think that visitors are visiting our website. They come from a source. It could be any. It could be Yandex, Google, Facebook. Maybe they typed in the address. Maybe they got a link sent to them. Goes to the start page. From the start page, they go to another page where we show all the rooms that we have. They think for a second. They say, I want a 2-bedroom. And then they make a purchase. Or then they book it. But that's not true. In fact, this is more like how it looks today. Especially thanks to people sharing stuff on social media and people using search engines, and how much better the search engines are becoming on indexing our websites today. visitors can start their visit on your website on virtually any page. And then they can navigate as they want. They might not even see the start page at all. In fact, I'm working with a big e-commerce client in Sweden, and their website, their start page is only the first page for about 1/3 of their visitors. 2/3 of the visitors start their journey on any other page. So what does that mean for you? Well, for one, it means that if you have unique selling points, and I know you do because you are smart businessmen and businesswomen, you need to be pushing those unique selling points on all of your pages. You need to be thinking about the conversions on all of your pages. And I have this example from outdoor brand Vaudi or Vod, I'm not quite sure how it's pronounced. This is one of their product pages, so it's quite deep down in the hierarchy of their website. And what they're doing here is that, do I have this fancy pointer? No, I don't need it. What they're doing here is that they're showing symbols or logos for things that are relevant to this product and that they know are important for their consumers to make a buying decision. But that's not all. What they're also doing further down on the website is that they are actually explaining what those logos, what those symbols mean. And this text is repeated more or less on all of their pages because they know that they can't control in which way visitors are navigating, so they need to be pushing that all the time. And then, like I said, there are some things that we can do that will increase both traffic and conversions. And that's ratings and reviews. You have probably, I hope, that if you've ever been online, you've seen these type of 5-star systems before. Amazon does it, Facebook does it, most of the big e-commerce stores does it. Why do they do it? Because it works. 63%, according to a study made by iPerception, 63% of customers are more likely to make a purchase on a site that has user reviews. It doesn't say that it has to be a 5-star or 4-star, just the fact that it has got user reviews meant that 63% of customers are more likely to buy it. But it's also true for attracting new visitors. Here's an example of a same type of product, but on Google search instead, where you can see that the top 2 hits does not have the star that the Amazon hit does. And a recent study made by Conversion XL showed that 35% increase in click-through rates in Google when the stars was visible. Normally there's a very clear path where hit number one gets about 30% of the clicks, hit number 2 gets about 15, and it goes down to 10 and 8 and 6 and so on. Visible on Google search, that can change. So how would you go about to add these reviews to your website? Well, the easiest path is if your website already has support for it, or if you can add an extension or something. If you're using a popular WordPress site, then you're more or less already set up. But there are also services that you can use that are easy to implement, that comes with a cost, or obviously you can have somebody program it for you. How many in here have heard the expression mobile first? Hands up. A few of you. Oh, that's nice. Cool. Mobile first is a term that has been used by Google and web agencies for a long time. Basically, what it's about is that when design and programming is done for a website, the mobile screen is prioritized first, and then it's expanded out to the bigger screens. And the reason why we're doing this is because the last few years we have seen a huge increase in mobile traffic and a decrease in desktop traffic. So the mobile screen has been more prioritized. This is a snapshot from one of our clients. It could virtually have been any B2C website in Sweden. And what you see on this pie chart and also in the table is that mobile and tablet together stands for 65% of the traffic. So the desktop and the laptop screens is almost 1/3 of the traffic. The rest is on a tablet or a mobile phone. Now in Lithuania, it looks a little bit different. This is a graph with data not just for one website, but overall for Lithuanian web traffic. And you can see here that from last year to January this year, desktop is still in the majority. There are more desktop web users than mobile users. But what's really interesting here, nice. Last year, mobile traffic stood for 14% of all web traffic, and this year, 21%. That's a 50% increase in just 1 year. And it's going to increase even more. This is the same kind of graph, but for European web traffic. You can see it started off a little bit higher than where Lithuania closed off this year. 26% increased to 38%. And this is also going to increase. It's not going to be long until we in Lithuania and in Europe see the same kind of development as we see globally, where mobile traffic surpasses desktop traffic. So, I'm not saying that you should completely ignore the big screens of a desktop or a laptop computer. Of course, they are important, but if you're forced to prioritize, if you're on a limited budget, then mobile is the way to go. It looks okay on a big screen, but you are making it better for the future. So, to summarize, the 5 things that I think that you should be doing online, the 5 things that your website must do in 2018. Local SEO. You need to make sure that Google and the other search engines knows where your business is, to make it possible for them to show you when people are searching for the services or the products or whatever they're looking for close to where you are. You need to have goals set up for your website. You need to understand, why do I have a website? When you know that, you need to start measuring that. And remember the untraditional navigation when you are working and writing text on your website. Remember that you have no idea what path the visitors are gonna take. You need to be pushing your unique selling points and be thinking about conversions on every single page. And if you have the possibility, you should really implement reviews and ratings on your website. It affects sales and it also affects traffic. Lastly, when you're doing a web project and you're forced to prioritize, if you're on a limited budget, prioritize the mobile devices, because that's where the future are. Everybody got a picture? You will get these slides. Okay, Instagram ready? So, thank you very much. And this link is actually working. So if you want to download the slides, click the links. If you got a blurry picture on your phone, this is where you